The Bamboo Project podcast starts in 3, 2.
Welcome to the Bamboo Project podcast. My name is Donovan Gray, the future $10 billion man. On the way to 10 billion, I decided I am going to help create 1,000 millionaires, including myself. And not by being a guru or selling a course, but by doing the things I already love to do every day and documenting the journey to get there. I figure I make all the mistakes so you don't have to. My name is Donovan Gray, and this is how I will turn my life into a living. I'd like to start off by giving a shout out to all the people rocking with us and supporting the channel. We really appreciate you. We are currently streaming on all major streaming platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, you name it, we on it. And if we not on it, we about to be on it. For everyone listening to this podcast and not watching it, you can find us on YouTube at The Bamboo Project. We have over 400 videos on our channel. Do you want to learn real estate? We got that. Do you want cooking tutorials inspired by Dr. Sabi? We got that. Travel and lifestyle vlogs? Got it. Makeup and hair growth tutorials? Got it. Basketball? Got it. Turo? Got it. Candles? About to have it. It's everything us. All the parts of the journey that don't make it to YouTube will probably be on our story. You can find me on Instagram at Donovan Gray, DONIVANGRAY, and my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend, Anita Byrne, ANETABURN. Okay, the Bamboo Project is about turning your life into a living by making money off the things you already do every day. We made different playlists for all the things we're into, and you can find all of those links in the description box below. This may be your first time here, and if it is, welcome to the family. But for everyone else, this is chapter 3, page 129. Okay, this podcast has 4 different segments. We have the life update, episode playback, Donovan's questions, and the topic of the day. All video and audio timestamps will be in the description box below. Today's date is September 8th. It is 4:39 p.m. It's Tuesday, by the way. Before we get into the life update, which is the first segment of the podcast, we are going to start off with screen time check. Okay, everybody's favorite time of the podcast. Woo, yay, woo. Okay, now for those who are new, I know a lot of y'all are new. The reason that I do a screen time check every week is because I say this every single week. If I don't take advantage of my phone, then my phone is taking advantage of me. And if I want to get to 10 billion, you got to work on that. For last week, all right, guys, y'all ready for this? Oh, okay. Are y'all ready for this? All right. So last week, wait, hold on, damn, that's wrong. Okay, I'm still hyped, but it was, not as hyped as I was when I just switched it back over. So last week, my average screen time, so the amount of time I spent on my phone on average every single day, was 7 hours and 19 minutes. Okay, I've been at 8 hours for a minute. All right, I've been at 8 hours for a minute. So on Wednesday, it was 4 hours and 13 minutes I was on my phone the whole day on Wednesday. Can you believe that? What do we do on Wednesday?
Make Torrie videos.
Exactly. So, and I was doing the spreadsheet. So for Wednesday, for the whole day, I spent 4 hours and 13 minutes on my phone. And then it was, what was day? It's Tuesday. Thursday, it was 6 hours and 15 minutes. On Friday, it was 4 hours and 58 minutes. Okay. And then on Saturday, it was 5 hours and 21 minutes. I'm just saying, those are great numbers right there. Those are great numbers. And for this week so far, my daily average use is 7 hours and 8 minutes for this week. But either way, that's low. We're getting it down. All right. So I'm curious. On the Wednesday, I was on Instagram for an hour and oh wow, how is this possible? So on Wednesday, I was only on YouTube for 55 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you was busy.
That's crazy.
Yep.
YouTube for 55 minutes. Normally I'm on YouTube. This one on Monday, it was 5 hours. I was on my phone for 10 hours and 38 minutes on Monday. I'm not surprised. That's the day after the craft fair. Listen, don't talk to me the day after the craft fair. I'm going chilling. But yes. So okay, now let's go and see. So for the whole week, I was on my phone for 16. I was on YouTube for 16 hours and 51 minutes, Instagram for 11 hours and 56 minutes, and then Safari for 5 hours and 27 minutes. My average amount of pickups per day was 92. which is down from the week before, which was 130. Okay. My first used app after pickup was YouTube, then Instagram, and then the messages. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Your turn, babe. What was your screen time like last week?
My average screen time for last week was 7 hours and 17 minutes. So 2 minutes under.
Oh, you got an addiction problem, obviously. You gotta work on that.
My first most used app is TikTok at 12 hours and 42 minutes. Then Instagram at 12 hours and 8 minutes. And then Google Maps at 5 hours and 53 minutes. My average amount of pickups is down 13% from the week before at 124.
It's pretty low.
And my first used app after pickup is Instagram at 179.
That's interesting.
And I think it's funny. I pick my phone up way more than you do, but you be on your.
I pick my phone up one time. I'll be there for 3 hours.
Right.
Don't put that shit down. Okay, so now we have the subscriber check. So today at 4:44 p.m. on September 6th, we currently have 5,440 subscribers. All right. So let's get into the podcast, man.
I just saw 444 twice.
I'm looking at it right now. 444 here. The time's 444. I seen it. I don't know if y'all noticed it. I think I even seen it on my. And honestly, the views for the last video is 333. So I don't know if what y'all.
As long as it's not the
434. You know what's funny?
Putting that energy out there.
Earlier it was close with it was a dollar sign though. They was playing with us. So I might have noticed I have a little bit more energy today. One of the reasons is we have let me show you if I can see this. We have a microphone stand, right? Let me show you this microphone stand for people who are watching the video. It looks like this. Maybe I'll put it over here. I think this is better. But it looks like this, right? Maybe over here better. I can see it. Okay. This is how it looks.
Put it to. Oh, okay.
This is how it looks, right? One of these legs is broken. It's dislocated. It's this one right here. So if y'all see it, look at this. It's like it's fucked up. Okay, it's fucked up. So whenever we put the mic on, it keeps falling down. Now we had these stands in the house for a minute and we stopped using them. I forgot the exact reason why. I know one of the reasons was I didn't like the way it looked on the camera, like in the shot. But now that I kind of cropped the video, I think I won't mind it, but it also just feels better. Like I don't have to worry about the camera being like in front of my mouth. It's kind of hands free. I feel more professional with the mic here. And so I feel a lot better. I feel a little more energetic. Also, I'll get into why we have some more. We're in a lot better moods and spirits. Shout out to my guy Torrie and Square. So this see, I'm gonna start. Okay. All right. Okay. So I am starting with the Craftfait. Okay. So we are going into candle mode. All right. Y'all have been here. Some of y'all been here for a minute. Y'all have seen us go through a lot of different avenues, a lot of different channels. Y'all seen us do a lot of different things. Okay. They was here. If y'all was real early, y'all was seeing us do the working out. Y'all was seeing us do the food. Melissa was making clothes. I was riding my bike. Then we kind of went towards the wholesaling. Then we kind of went towards the Airbnb. Then we kind of went to buying a house. Then we kind of went to Turo. Then we kind of did the candles. So now, we here at the candles now. We have landed on the candle section of our life, right? So I would say that this week is probably the one we just did last weekend. I think that is our first weekend of us starting the candle business, I would say. I think up to this time, it has been a hobby. And it's funny thing about that. A lot of people feel like we should focus on one thing, right? A lot of people like to say that. And I think it's funny because they also say that we start a lot of businesses. I feel like a lot of the things we've done have been hobbies. And I never thought about that before. I was just like, we were just kind of trying different things, seeing what we like, seeing what we don't like, trying to, honestly, if I'm being honest with you, the goal that we had was to make enough money for our living situation, so we have our bills paid. That was the goal. So whatever we did to get that would have been what we did. Whether it been Turo, like I said before, I would have got 30 cars so that we could make $30K a month, and then we would have went and built on top of that. If it was Airbnb, I would have got 100 Airbnbs, however many I would have did that. If I closed a wholesale deal, once I got that money, it would have been, okay, let's try and flip this as fast as possible so that we can build it so that we are getting wholesale deals every single month. That was the goal. So now we are landing on the candles. And the last craft fair we did on Saturday, we made $1,170, okay, in one day. Now, here's the thing about the craft fair, which I think is so crazy. So this particular craft fair, on Saturday, it was slow in the morning, okay? So from maybe, it starts at 11. So from about 11 to maybe 1 o'clock, we might have gotten like 3 orders. We probably sold like 3 candles. Then it kind of went crazy. Then we didn't really sell any candles from like the last 2 hours. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the Square app on my phone so you guys can actually see. All right, so September 3rd, all right, so in the first hour we made $55. That's probably a small candle and a big candle. The second hour we made $165. At 1 p.m. we made $390 in 1 hour, right? And then the next hour we made $220. Then after that we made $150, and then at 5 o'clock we made $60, which is about, it's probably, what is that? How you get this? Oh, 4 small candles. And then in the last hour, so from 5 to 6, we only sold 4 small candles, right? So that's 4 sales. We did about 57 sales, I think, that day. We did like 50. We did some crazy amount of number. But we did 51 sales that day. Probably 57 candles that we sold. And that's in a day. And I feel like the first hour and the last 2 hours were kind of slow. So to only sell 4 candles is not really a lot. But even if we only sold 4 small candles per hour, right, that would put us at 60 times 7 would be $420 in a day, which I think is kind of low. I think we could do that amount for us, but we probably couldn't hire anybody or really build the candles out from that amount. That was how we did on Saturday. Then on Sunday, it was a little bit less. I think it was like 500, maybe like 400 something dollars, right? Now, here's the thing about Saturday. Melissa's brother had helped us on Saturday, and I was trying to figure out what would be the best job for him at the craft fair to help us, right? So Melissa came up with the idea of having him do social media. I'm like, all right, cool. So here's how we're going to have him do it. We had him go around and take pictures of all the other vendors for our Instagram page, for the Ember candle page. And then after he did that, we then had him come over and he recorded us playing the game that we have with people at the table. And then he also took a picture with people and we would buy candles. So he was doing amazing at that. Like, he was doing phenomenal, helping us out with that. So then he had kind of saw us selling, and he's like, hey, I want to do that. I want to help. So at first he was kind of like stepping on our toes when he was doing it. So I'm like, listen, let me talk to you. Come here. I'm like, look, selling, if you aren't a natural at it, takes some learning and some skill to get better at it, right? So Melissa and I have been doing this for multiple times. So what I would need you to do is, you'll be like technically the marketer. I need you to ask people, do they want to smell a candle, and have them come to the table, and then me and Melissa will sell them the candle. So his job was to then bring in all of the people, because normally how it works is Melissa and I always say, hey, you want to smell a candle? And then we'll try and, explain to them how the candle is and what's good about it and things like that. So he was doing a phenomenal job at this, right? He was bringing in so many people to the table that we were like, damn, we need him to bring in less people. Because when I explained this to him, I think he took this very literally, which I think is funny, but it worked out perfectly. I was like, listen, I want you to bring people to the table, and me and Melissa will sell them. So what he started doing was like waving people over, and he was like, okay, you want to smell a candle? Okay, now go down to him over there, and then he'll help you out. So they'd be like, huh? Okay. So they'll walk over to me. I start telling them about the candle. He'll bring somebody else in. He'll be like, okay, now you want to smell? Hey, Melissa, this person's for you. And now we're both talking to the people, And he'll be like, hey, you want to smell a candle? And he'll bring somebody else over. So now people are kind of just around the table, and we're like, all right, we got to kind of, slow the marketing funnel down a little bit so that we could meet the demand that we have for the candles, or the people that are there, right? So I just thought it was funny that he was doing that. It was very, very helpful. So he only started doing that towards the middle and the end of the day-ish. Like I would say end of the middle of the day and the middle of the day. He was doing that. So like I said before, he had saw Melissa and I selling candles. He's like, okay, you know what? I want to try and do that. So I said, cool, I got you. So I took him to the side. I started explaining to him, like, I think I heard Alex say this once, and he has said that selling is everything you do before the sale, and closing is everything you do after you give the price. No, let me rephrase that. Selling is everything you say before you give the price, and closing is everything you do after the price, right? So something that I've thought about now in terms of a script, quote unquote, that we will have is, I don't think I'm going to call it a script. I think it's better to call it tools, and these are the tools that you will have at your disposal to be able to close a sale. And I say that because I think that Melissa is different than me. I'm different than him. And all three of us can close sales. We have done it. It's just how you do it. So if I give you a hammer, you can use a hammer different ways. Or I can give you a set of tools and you can use a different tool for what you feel like works best for you. So for me, when it comes to talking to him about how to sell, I'm like, listen, these are the things to keep in mind when talking to someone. As a person that sells, I would say that the most important thing is to make sure the person is having a good time. Like, the experience is good above anything else. Before knowing how to sell, before knowing how to close, anything like that, I would say the most important thing is to make sure the person that you are talking to is enjoying themselves and having a good experience. I think that it's easy. People would rather buy something from you if they like you, if they're having a good time. I think it makes it very hard if someone's trying to sell something and it's like, I don't like you, and you'll make the experience very terrible for me. You smell, your breath stinks, you're coughing in my face. I don't want to be here. As opposed to someone who's like, oh my God, you're having so much fun. Oh yeah, I love you. You're so funny. You're so charming. What are you guys selling? Okay, I'll get 3 of those, right? And now the thing about it is, the product is amazing. So if they enjoy the experience with us and then they get the product or the candle that is amazing itself, that's a win-win on both sides. So it's like, okay, I came up to you guys, I had a great time, I bought from you guys, and then I had a great experience with the candle. This is amazing to me. And that's kind of the thing that I think about when when people are there and I want them to buy something. I'm like, I'd rather you have a good time instead of I would rather you, I don't know if would I rather have I would honestly, I think I would rather have somebody have a good time than buy a candle. And the reason I say that is because I don't think that I would want to build a brand of people that don't enjoy being at that place. Like, that would be a terrible thing. Like, yeah, they buy the candles, but I feel like, I hate this company so badly, but I just keep buying from them. I just hate them. No, I wouldn't want that. I would much rather prefer a person to be like, you know what? They still working on some things, but I really enjoy them. I really enjoy the product, but they're still trying to get some things figured out, but I enjoy going there. So that's how I look at it. So I went through the whole toolkit that I will give him to how to sell, close, speak, and things like that. And he picked up on something very, very interesting to me. So when it comes to selling, right, I think that there's different parts of it. There's knowing what to say, so having the tools of what to say, and then there is knowing when to say it. And I think that some people don't even know what to say, let alone when to say that thing. And it's easy for me to tell you what to say, but when to say it is where the actual skill comes in. And for him to ask me that, or he didn't really ask me, I asked him, like, what do you feel like you're learning while you're trying to sell? Like, what's the hardest part for you? He said, the hardest part for me right now is knowing when to say the right thing, because I feel like sometimes I'll say the thing, but they aren't, they feel kind of standoffish after I say it. So he was like, yeah, he's just trying to work on learning when to say this. Now, let me say this. He also would consider himself to be socially awkward and introverted. So for him to go from that to then enjoying himself there and then also being able to sell, I think that says a lot about, one, knowing your personality, because anybody can sell something as long as you, like I said, have the right tools to do it. So that was Saturday. So then Sunday, he wasn't able to come, and then we did like $480, $500. A couple of weeks ago, we had talked about getting a Square loan, and as I said before, when it comes to now finally starting the candle business, we need a runway. We needed we would have to more or less bootstrap our way to get to doing more craft fairs, paying for our monthly bills, so on and so forth. So Square, which owns Cash App, they give out loans, right? Now they give out loans based off of what your performance is with processing orders through their payment system. Now, at first I wasn't sure what kind of loan this was. But as some of y'all may know, I am very, very well versed on MCA, otherwise known as merchant cash advances. So over the weekend on Sunday, Melissa, kind of chilling. It's a slow day. She starts shaking me, right, with a lot of excitement. I'm like, what's going on? What happened? She starts showing me her phone. I'm like, what is that? She was like, they approved us for the loan. I'm like, what? She was like, yes, they gave us notification and they said that they will give us a loan. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, this is crazy, because we were trying to figure out how would we do the next craft fair. At that point, we probably made like $1,400, something like that, maybe $1,200, maybe $1,300. And we were just like, okay, we would really have to penny pinch to be able to buy enough supplies for the following week, as well as pay for food, or let's call it groceries, and any like small bills we have to pay, like our phone bill or things like that, or gas. So we were like working on a super tight budget. Like, okay, if we could make X amount of dollars for the next craft fair, we could just do it. And if we get to $1,300 at this craft fair, then that means that we could just not really eat a lot for the week and just on the weekend do the craft fair and have the money for the following week. So I'm like, okay, how much money gonna give us, right? So she checks the notification. She opens it up, reads the email. It says they gave us $1,200, right? Now, it's a small amount. And at the time, well, listen, I was super excited when I heard the amount, because it's exactly the amount we needed, almost down to the dollar amount that we would have to do the next week craft fair. And that means have all the inventory plus pay for the entrance fee to get into the craft fair. Almost down to a T. So we were trying to figure out, how do they calculate how much money they give us? Like we weren't really sure. But like I said, we have a lot of experience with the merchant cash advance loans. So Melissa was doing the math, and they have calculated the amount of money that we've made since the beginning of this year, which through the payment processor it's roughly like 11,000, right? Because if you take out the cash, yeah, it's like over 10. So it's over $10,000, right? And the $10,000 number is like the bottom, like you have to have at least 10,000 before they even look at you for the loan. So they did the math, or Melissa did the math, and they broke it down they divided that 10,000 by the whole amount for the year. So they gave us $1,200, which is, they've been doing this for about 8 months now, right? Here's the thing about this merchant cash advance loans. They give you money based on how much money you make every single month. Now, here's my theory, okay? I think that once we pay off the loan, they will give us more. I say that because of my prior experience with the other merchant cash advances that we were doing last year. Also, what they don't understand is that we make significantly way more than $1,200 a month. We were off and on for the whole year. We have probably only done 4 months worth of craft fairs for the whole year. And during those times, we either ran out of supplies on multiple days. We had family helping us. But we were learning how to do it. And we weren't bringing enough stuff to do it, like inventory. So all those things combined, they felt like we only make $1,200 per month, right? We make $1,200 on a Saturday. So my assumption is that Once we pay off the loan, they'll give us a larger amount. Now, here's how that loan works from what we've seen. You have to pay a daily percentage of your transactions to them, right? Our number is 14.5%. So that would equate to, if we're doing $1,500 a weekend,
approximately $217.
it's like $217, and so that's honestly, that's for 2 days though. So it would be like $100 something for the day, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, something like that. Either way, for a craft fair, right? For a craft fair, we're paying about $217. So that's 6 weeks. So in 6 weeks, we will have paid off this loan, and they will be like, "Wow, we gave you a loan, and you paid it off in 6 weeks, and you made substantially more, exponentially more than you guys were making before. I think this loan really helped y'all. Here's another loan." And I here's my assumption too. I wonder, now this part where we're still kind of confused at. We're just kind of making speculation. How much money will they give us the next time that we finish paying off the loan? Will they account for the whole time period that we've been doing it? Or will they then go, okay, you've made X amount of dollars since you've gotten a loan. We're going to give you some type of percent of that or a multiple of that going forward. That's what I think will happen. So I think I can see them giving us several $1,000s. Now, here's the other thing about this. Even if they only give us a couple $1,000s now, with how I know that merchant cash advances work, over the next couple of months, they're going to be giving us $20,000, $30,000, even more than that. I think I even saw a video today that some girl had got $250,000 from a Square loan. So if that's the case, my assumption is that they will do a multiple of your money once you actually start making money with them. And once you start paying it off, once you pay it off quickly and you're still getting sales and your sales are growing, they're going to want to give more money. Now, something that I've been thinking about recently, and I bring this up because a lot of times in my life, I have worried about my credit, right? And as I've gotten older, I have realized that credit is almost, I would say that almost not even needed, to be real with you. And the reason why I say that, and when I say, I mean like your personal credit. So I say that because once you have money, you really have almost unlimited options when it comes to getting money from somebody else. So if I'm making $1 million a month, I don't think it would be hard for someone to lend me $5 million or for someone to lend me $100,000 or even $1 million. A lot of people, right, especially these companies coming up, lending money is a business. So they want to make money from that business. And there are a lot of companies, and I don't just mean like the obscure ones. Companies like Square, companies like probably Squarespace, just different companies like that. Maybe even Home Depot, probably stuff like that. They want to make money from that finance section or sector. So they make out loans. They know that they don't want to check your credit because they're like, hey, if you are making money, we prefer that more than someone that has good credit. Because if you have good credit and you make no money, they're not going to give you anything. They would much rather give somebody that makes a lot of money a lower amount of money, even if they don't have any credit or bad credit. And the other thing on top of that is this. Even if you have personal credit that's messed up, if you have business credit, you can use that to apply for most things that you would need. A house, a car. Honestly, what other things do you need credit for? Your phone bill, and you might get a little discount. There aren't much things that you need credit for other than maybe a loan. And like I said, there are a plethora of people that will want to give you a loan based off of how much money you make as opposed to what your paying history was with something else. They might just have a higher interest rate, but they want to give you money. So I care a lot less about my credit score now than I used to, on top of the fact that we have friends, we have family that have good credit. So if we have the money and they have the credit, we go, hey, we can't get into this building because they said our credit is too low. Can you be a co-signer? We'll give you the money up front for it. Or even I was thinking about this because this is what we plan about doing when we go to Atlanta. We were considering going to Atlanta and applying for a nicer, like a 2-bedroom apartment when we finally get down there. And if they don't want to approve us, then we could either pay 6 months of rent up front, or we could have a co-signer who has great credit and we could still pay 6 months of up front, or we could have somebody who's a co-signer who has great credit and we give them some money so that they feel comfortable to co-sign for the place. There are different things that we could do to get into it, but either way, we don't need credit. And then on top of that, we can still build our credit even if it's messed up. Having money makes it a lot easier to build credit. So we could just buy some cars, pay the cars off, buy a house, or whatever, do a bunch of things to raise our credit. Like I said, my credit has definitely fell off a cliff. I haven't paid my payment in like 2 months now, but for my entire life, I made sure I never missed a payment ever. Like ever. But now that I have the knowledge, I'm like, I don't really care. Like, we have knowledge and we have money. I really don't care about credit. I was talking to my guy, shout out to, well, I used to be living in Lime. We call him V. And we were just kind of talking about the candle business. And another avenue that we came across through that conversation is that we could have wax melts for Airbnbs. So we can sell these to people that who have luxury or nicer Airbnbs, because they want to create an experience or an environment for the people that stay there that they feel comfortable and they go, oh, I like this. We also gonna have a setup where the person is an affiliate, so they can get paid if someone were to scan the QR code of a wax melt that they have and then purchase it through us. They can get paid from that. So to me, I'm like, that's a whole nother avenue of money that we never even thought about, on top of going to college campuses, because you can't have candles in the college campus, but they do not prevent you from having wax melts. No fire, no danger, more money. So we just be waking up going, this is gonna be so crazy. We're just, every time we wake up, we're like, this is gonna be, it's insane. We just finally got this in the mail, right? This is the Ember candle. Let me get that real close to you. This is the Ember candle wick trimmer. All right, hold on. Oh, look at this. All right, now put it up here. Now I'm gonna bring it closer to the camera so you can see what this says on it. Okay, put that right in there. Can y'all see that? Maybe I can see that. Okay. What the candle wick trimmer says is burn better, be better, Ember. Okay, I've been talking to y'all before about this wick trimmer, and most people that buy candles from us either don't know what wick trimmer is or don't have one. Okay, I don't even know why they should have one. So I'm like, hey, that sounds like a problem we could solve if we just sell a wick trimmer. If we sell this for $10 or $15, right? Last week we sold 57 candles. We did 51 sales. If 50% of the people buy a wick trimmer, right, that would have been an extra $200 to $300 just on Saturday, and then another on Sunday might have been another $100, right? So I've been extra $400. So just like that with this wick trimmer, we would have probably hit $2,000 last weekend just with this wick trimmer, just by adding this. And it's like, if you buy a candle, not having wick trimmer is silly. Like, I wasn't a candle person before. Now that I know about candles, it's silly to not have this. Okay, it's the purpose of, okay, I'm gonna give y'all the spiel like everybody. Okay, got 2 candle tips for y'all. So with a wick trimmer, okay, there are 3 reasons why you want to get a wick trimmer. If you don't trim your wick, you have the black soot around your candle, right? That's one reason. If you don't trim your wick, your fire will be higher. Therefore, you may have it burn things in your house if your fire is too high. It's reckless, right? The third reason to have a wick trimmer is your candle lasts longer. If the fire is hotter, then it will burn faster. So if you trim it and it's shorter, your candle will last longer. Okay, that's why you get a wick trimmer. Like, it's insane to not have one, honestly. Like, if I buy candles, I would have to get a wick trimmer. It just seems like it makes the most sense. But people who don't have them, I'm gonna tell them, hey, this is why you should get one. So, bruh, it just came in the mail today. So we're gonna buy 100 of those, see what we do with them, and we gonna see what happens in a couple of weeks. Because we doing 2,000 a week, that's $8,000 a month. Plus the YouTube check, we're talking about almost $9,500 a month. So we technically would be in a 6-figure club if you want to do it by how much money we make projection wise. Like, I think you could value us at like at $100,000 company at that point. And then again, that's only working weekends. That's only Melissa and I working on the weekends. We would be making close to 6 figures a year. Okay, isn't that crazy where we came from? Isn't that crazy?
I was just thinking about it. Like, I'm like, damn. If we do a craft every week, and that means I have to make that means I have to make candles every week, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm like, I used to work at Starbucks. Mm-hmm. I used to work at Starbucks
every day.
Every day, 8 hours a day.
Sometimes longer.
Right.
You would leave, come back, cause you gotta do another shift.
Make nowhere near the same amount of money.
You would make $600 for the whole week, maybe.
Nowhere near the same amount of money. Have to pay for this and like.
But now you're in your house.
Comfortable watching TV.
Right.
Like, I'm managing myself. This is just mind blowing. But I just think it's funny that, you know, I'll have the thought like, damn, that's like a lot of candles to make. But it's like, is it really?
Bruh, and then here's the other thing too. It's a lot of candles to make with the process that is currently in place.
Right. Once we have
a wax melt, we have the little pouring thing. It's like you could be dancing like, I'm about to, you over here. Then you go walk away, come back, and it's like,
let me make 300 candles.
Right, I'll be right. What you doing today? I'll make 300 candles. How long is it gonna take? Like 2 hours maybe. I'll be done in 2 hours. Right, and we'll have the whole. Honestly, what will end up happening is you might have to bring this over there. You have to put all the candles.
I was just thinking that we might have to get another table.
Right.
Maybe like
a foldable one. Table, yeah. Right? So
put it out when I make candles.
Listen, this space is too small, guys. We are outgrowing the space. Our pockets are outgrowing this. Our bodies outgrowing. Everything's outgrowing it. Our cats are big. They used to be little small baby kittens. Now they large teenagers. They probably I would say they probably in their early 20s now. Late. That's like late teens. They're like late teens still. So that is where we are at with the candles. So the next thing for life update that was me and Melissa were talking about was possibly streaming. And me and my man V Lemon and Lime talked about this. We were talking about like doing Patreon. He had brought it up to me, like, I've thought about doing a Patreon or something like that. And I was just like, we have thought about it in the past. But my thing is, I wouldn't want to do a Patreon unless we had something that we were putting on there of value. That's one reason why we haven't done it yet. Plus the amount of time that it would take to make something separate to put on there. We will have something like that. And personally, I would prefer that it's on our own website and not Patreon. Here's my reason for that. Okay, some of y'all don't know this, but I have some people. I would say that there are people out there who think that I have controversial opinions. Okay, I don't know. I don't think I would say that. I would just say I have an opinion. Okay, it's just what I think. Now, because of that, we are still a small channel, but I can guarantee going down the line, we will run into something people will not like what I'm saying. Which is fine, just whatever. However, my issue is more so that I want to be able to say what I want to say where I want to say it. So if I can't say it on YouTube, I'm going to still want to say what I want to say. So I'd much rather have either diversified across multiple platforms. And even with that, I have seen multiple people who have had multiple platforms and they all got snatched down. I remember there was one dude, honestly 2 people now at this point, the David Icke guy. That was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. I have never in my life seen something that crazy. So he was doing an interview, or he was on YouTube at the time, right? They took down his YouTube channel. I think they took down his Twitter, they took down his Instagram, his Facebook, and they didn't stop there. Okay, they also took down his Dropbox. I want to say Spotify took down his account too, but that one you can't quote me on that one. But they definitely took down his Dropbox. Then they told him that they did not want him using Amazon Web Servers. That's AWS, which is where the site his website is hosted on that platform. So he would, and now Amazon Web Service is one of the biggest, I think it's the biggest web service hosting platform in the entire world. And they were like, nah, we're taking you down. So how is it that all of these people came together and said, that guy right there, take him off of all the platforms, right? He was doing an interview one time. Like somebody interviewed him and he was talking. This is right before the pandemic had came. Or like right after it started. Bruh. They deleted that shit while I was watching it. I'm like, oh, they are not playing with him. Like, they are getting him out of here. So now, similar with Andrew Tate. Now, I like his methodology, which I also will probably implement something like that. But I heard that with his website, they said, listen, we don't want you processing no payments over here with that. Like, we don't accept that. So now his platform, this is what I heard. I forgot who was, I think it might have been, I forgot exactly who was talking about it, but the payment processing company doesn't like what he said on his social media. So now they say, we won't accept any money to your website. That's crazy. That's insane to me. Like, that is absolutely insane. And that's just for saying what you think. Now, again, he does fall into that, from what I've seen, whether it be in comedic effect, which I don't know much of it is, but he falls into what people classify as a red pill category. He does like to make a spectacle of when he does perform, these type of ideologies. I'm not as extreme, but I am very logical, and very logical people offend people who are emotional. Because people will say it makes sense, but I don't like the way you said it. It hurt my feelings, so don't say that. And it's like, but it's true. I don't care. And it's like, well, I'm telling the truth, and you're telling me don't say that. So what should I do? Lie? And that's kind of the part where people who are logical kind of get into this dilemma where they go, if I lie, I feel wrong. You don't like that. But if I tell you the truth, you also don't like that. But I feel better. Where do I go with that? So at some point we will have that, something like a Patreon website, something like that effect. And also a Discord. That's something else that we talked about too. So when it comes to like diversifying the social media right now, we were considering doing something like streaming. Right now, we aren't really sure how we would do it. We just got an idea at this point. But Melissa, shout out to Kieran. I'm gonna come to you later in episode playback. Melissa is streaming on Twitch, whenever she feels like streaming, at Anita Burn, ANETABURN, Kieran. So if you want to watch her, you can go over there. She's playing video games. I could chat it up with her, have y'all convos, talk whatever y'all want to talk about over there. Now, we were thinking about possibly streaming like the craft fair and stuff, just different things, because what I don't want to do is I personally don't want to sit down and stream. Really? Not really. I would prefer to I think it would be cooler if we were streaming while we're outside doing stuff. I think that's a lot more entertaining to me.
Yeah, the way that I see it, I think it would be cool. We don't go to Philly anymore, but like those long car rides, getting waxed, we'd stream something like that.
Yeah, I like that. Ride. Ooh, that'd be a good title. Like if we were really on planes and stuff, like really traveling a lot, we call it like Rides with the Thebambooproject, and we just in the car streaming, talking.
Yes.
Yeah. So like I said, that's something that sounds like something that'll be fun. And like I said, I also want to have the Discord. And if y'all don't know what Discord is, it's just like a really large group chat, pretty much. That way we could kind of keep everybody updated on things and kind of just build. I told you before, I want to build a city. So building a community is part of that. So I think that finding people who are like-minded, similar, and being able to give them information that we have picked up and things that I've heard from people, everybody could all be in there, like from Turo to credit to hair to Airbnb to skin to candles to relationships to family, just a lot of different stuff. Because I feel like me and Melissa are very eclectic, and I also think that a lot of people that watch the channel don't just like one thing. So I feel like that would be useful, but we aren't there yet. We just ideas that we were kind of playing around with. And then Rumble is the last site that I would consider posting a podcast on at some point, just because right now they are one of the platforms that allow you to still talk the way you want to talk. And like I said, you guys probably think I'm very regular, which is fine. A lot of the old podcasts, some of them might have been flagged already. And just because I say things that people will go, oh my God, Dom, how can you say that? Then when I explain it, they go, oh, that I guess that makes sense. But their first initial reaction, their visceral reaction is very offended. So, well, we're going to see what happens going down the line. Now, shout out to Veronica. There's two Veronica. Shout out to my mom's friend, Veronica. But we also met a subscriber in real life, right? And I saw this lady walking down the street. I think she had a dog, right? And I was just like, I just noticed her. How do you know? So I came inside. I threw out some trash I had in my hand, and I went to Melissa to wait in the elevator. And I had saw a video on my phone, and I had made a joke, something around, if we had did this, we probably get 100 million views. It was some joke like that. And then she was like, hey, do you guys have a YouTube channel? And I thought to myself, oh, she's probably asking that because I said the word 100 million views. Like, you know, that's probably why she asked that. And I was just like, yeah, we have a YouTube channel. She goes, yeah, I've seen you guys before. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, I've seen you guys before. Like, going to like the store, going to the house. I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, yeah, I remember her. She's like, you remember Melissa's face? She's like, yeah, she looks familiar. I remember y'all. I was like, yo, that's crazy. So we got in the elevator. We were kind of talking. And she was saying that she subscribed to us. She'd be watching our videos. And she lives in our building. And I think that's so crazy. Because I was just like, I did not think that we'd be recognized. And I got recognized once. I just want to know I am pretty famous though, but I'm gonna tell you the first time I got recognized. It was after the Turo video had came out, and I had went to go play basketball at a tournament, and one of the guys on my team was like, "Yo, I seen your Turo video." I was like, "Oh shit, that's crazy!" And I was just like, I'm famous. But now I feel like that video was a lot more viral, if you want to call it that. So I wasn't too surprised by that. Even though I'm still famous now, but this one was more of like, I watch you guys' channel. Like, I'm subscribed to you guys, as opposed to the first one. Like, oh yeah, I think I've seen a video with you in it before. So I was just like, wow, like we are now one of the biggest YouTubers on the platform now. I just want to let y'all know we acting different, price going up, we moving different now. But yeah, shout out to you, Veronica. If we see you again, Thebambooproject. So that was cool. I remember something else with the craft fair I thought was very interesting. So when Melissa and I were sitting down, I guess we had just finished selling a lot of candles because that's what we do. There was a person or a couple next to us selling jewelry, right? And it was very disheartening, and I felt bad from what I saw. So it seemed to be a girlfriend and a boyfriend, or a husband and a wife. And I'm guessing that she was the main driver of the jewelry. But she had brought her boyfriend to sell. Now, I think she brought her boyfriend because she saw me selling on Saturday. She's like, maybe if I bring my man, he helped me sell. And it's like, listen, I'm a special kind of man. Like, you can't just bring anybody and think you're going to get what I get. Like, it's different. So, I remember me and her were talking about doing a different fair, like the one in Chelsea I told y'all about, that's 7 days a week. And I had asked, like, how much y'all make. She said they would make like $2,000 a day over there. And again, like I said, we selling way more than them. Like we was moving weight, but their product price is higher than ours. So there's that. But when we were talking, someone came up to the booth, and she had like turned to look over at her shoulder at her man, and he had his AirPods in with his feet up on the chair, right, watching a soccer game. And then the look in her face was of so much sadness, and let me check my emotional wheel, because I gotta get the right words for this one. Hold on, guys. Let me get my emotion. Disappointment. That's a good one. I'm trying to
think of how I feel. I wouldn't call it grief.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like, damn, like.
I mean, this is kind of tough, but miserable. That's on my wheel. Oh, you know what? This is the thing about this wheel. I feel like there are words that I be looking at, and I always go, is that where that word comes from? So I thought she was sad, right? And so some of those words might be, she felt depressed, which I agree. She felt depressed. Yes, I felt those words. But when it comes to angry, hurt is one of the words in angry, right? Resentful. Huh? Mm-hmm. Right. Resentful would be there.
You know what it is?
What?
I think that like sadness might be displeasure with yourself, and I think that like those like kind of sadness caused by somebody else might
be anger. Yeah, because I'm like frustrated is in the word of angry, and then also irritated and doubtful. So these are some of the words that I felt like she was feeling. But either way, as soon as I saw it, I was like, wow, she feels hurt by what she saw. Like her man is not supporting her. And I was just like, damn, that's crazy. I never been there, never experienced that. I don't know what that's like. But I think it was just to look at her face, because she was talking to me, and I guess she had maybe wanted him to like talk to the people or do something, but she just looked so like, wow, defeated. That's a good word, defeated. Yeah. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting when I saw that. But like I said, I don't know anything about that. Now, who else I don't hear? Oh, right. Shout out to my guy, Torrie. I almost forgot about that. He sent us some money after the last podcast because he saw we were struggling with food. So the money that he sent us, right, is going towards groceries. Now, Melissa remembered this from last year when we were trying to get an Airbnb, right? We used to use things like Afterpay and Klarna for it. So now we spending the block on those Afterpay programs, and we're using that money that we have now from the Craftfait that we made, because we have the loans. Now we have twice as much money, and we have the money from my guy Torrie to use on Afterpay. So how Afterpay works, if y'all don't know, they pretty much will give you a certain amount of money, like $600 or whatever, and you can buy whatever you want from wherever site you want to go to, depending on the platform you're using. And they say, okay, you got to pay us back every other week, right? So they'll give you, in our case, $600, and we can go and buy wax, and we can buy vessels, we can buy fragrance oils, and we only will pay today $150. So that means we could pay $150 today, do the craft fair on the weekend, pay $150 next week, do the craft fair that weekend, and then in the time that we would have paid or taken to pay back the entire loan, we could have made $8,000. And we only, and off that $600 that we could have, might have stopped us from doing the craft fair if we didn't have it. So I just think that that's crazy. But like I said, we spend in the block. And again, with those, it's similar with the merchant cash advances. Once you pay them back, they give you more money. So it'll be a time where we will probably have $2,000 or $3,000 to spend that we can pay for a whole craft fair, even 2 weeks of craft fairs, and only have to pay 1/4 of that up front. And and then pay it every 2 weeks. It's crazy.
I definitely, back when I was really in there.
Oh yeah, we had
over $1,000 just in Klarna to spend,
bruh.
But that's only if you pay back on your terms,
bruh. And we both have an account,
yep.
So they will give us both money. Okay, so I'm just saying that's doubling up. Okay, now. Turo videos, okay? The 3 are finished. I gotta record more. I made a spreadsheet. I'm working on trying to get it up on YouTube somewhere to sell that. But man, I don't know. It's gonna be tough getting 50 videos out. It's tough from the perspective of I just feel like it's not worth the time, but I am gonna try and commit to doing more of them. I have 3 already finished and edited. They done, recorded and edited, already finished. I just gotta do a thumbnail, come up with a title, and I can put them out. So they might go out. Honestly, by the time y'all see this, might have been last week, so it might have been Friday. Y'all might see this, or maybe it comes out after this podcast. I don't know. Still working on it, because like I said, 52 is quite a lot. Plus things are ramping up over here. But I do have some stuff I want to try with the Turo videos. I think I could try and get that watch time longer. And I have this new idea for thumbnails where I use, it's called like the, it's like a color wheel. And it's pretty much how you choose colors and colors that match together. And I kind of want to do that for the thumbnail. So I want to see if that increases like the click-through rate and then the watch time also. So I'm excited for that going forward. But I think that's it for the life update. All right, so now we are doing episode playback. So let me check who commented this about Mr.Beast. It was Mr. DSN 189, right? I was thinking about Mr.Beast again, and I was just like, is he good at making content? because Mr. DSN 189, he had commented and said interesting thoughts about Mr. Beast. I agree that it isn't that great, and I never quite understood the popularity. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, I had said that I think that Mr. Beast is as big as he is partly because he's allowed to grow. I don't think just because he's good, because I don't think he makes the best content on the platform. But I was watching a video today, and just kind of some thoughts I had over the last couple of days, right? I think he is hacking the algorithm and not making good content. And the reason I was thinking about that is because I've heard him talk about people, you know, they try to do a partnership with people like Netflix and maybe Amazon and things like that, and they didn't really want to work with him. And I was wondering why that might be. And one of the things that came to my mind is maybe he makes content that is for YouTube. And so the metrics that he uses and the methodology that he uses to make his videos may not translate over to Netflix or Amazon or Hulu or whatever other site he might want to go on, because I was thinking about the game shows, right? I don't know if his show is better than game shows per se, because it's very high pace. So it might be good for children to watch, but I can't speak to older people, because I know for me, when I watch the content, it's not that it's good, but like I say, he's kind of hacking it. It's almost like crack in a sense, where it's like, is it something that's a good product, or is it just an addicting thing because it's hacking your brain? That's kind of how I look at it. I don't think he makes bad content. I don't want to get that out the way too. I don't want to call it creative. I don't know what to call it. It's just to me, it's very, I will drop 100 eggs off of a building by 2:00. And it's like, okay, that sounds interesting. I might want to click on that. But I don't know if that storyline, I don't know if the story is good. It's weird. It's very weird. But like I said, I think that for me right now, I really like Ludwig, and I watch like the clip that he had from YouTube from his stream, and I think that he makes better content, but I think that he doesn't have the Mr. Beast hacking to the algorithm that Ludwig, that I don't think he has that Mr. Beast has. So that's something I thought about with him. Now, something I thought about too. Something else I talked about before. I don't know if it was last week or the week before. It was about YouTube possibly being racist or something like that. Now, everybody always says, and I think it's a very commonplace for people to speak on the fact that companies hire racist people, right? And what I never thought that, I don't know how many people bring this up, but what type of systems are in place to prevent someone from being racist? And I don't know if they have that in place. I think they have a way to stop overt racism in different establishments, but I don't think they have things in place to stop covert racism. And the reason why that's a problem to me is because the covert racism is the thing that really causes a lot of the problems that we still have. And if you bring it up to anybody, and it's one of my problems I have with Ben Shapiro, is he'll say things like, well, if you show me the racism law or the racist law, I will vehemently go against it. But it's like, come on, the law is not going to say black people can't go to the park. It's not going to say that. It's going to say anybody that lives in this zip code, that goes to this school, that has a family that was born in this time period and lived in this state at this time, they can't go to the park. And it's like, well, only black people fit in that category. Like, well, I didn't say black people. I just said people that fit the category of a black person. There was one guy, he's white, and he also fits in that category. So the reason I bring it up is because I wonder, what would it look like to establish, like, I guess, anti-covert racism systems. Because I'm using an example of what happened on YouTube with the Corey Kenshin guy. And if something like that, if he gets flagged, right, for content that he makes, and you go, okay, why didn't you flag this guy? And you flag this guy. And they go, okay, it's because, you know, I didn't notice it. You go, okay, cool, you didn't notice it, got you. That's a strike for you, though. We think that's racism. You go, what? Listen, it's a strike. And they go, what do you mean? Here's what I would say, do that. Because if you strike somebody for the possibility of being racist, they will make sure that they are not racist at all. That's how you prevent that. If you even come close to being racist, we getting you out of here. And that's how you prevent covert racism. Because right now, nobody is trying to be overtly racism. Back in the day, it was perfectly fine. They put laws in place to prevent that. Who's stopping the covert racism? Like I said, if you come into a thing, if somebody says to you, don't touch my hair, and you touch my hair, racism right there. Another one, strike. You get 2 more of those, you out of it, you getting fired. What you mean you getting fired? Learn how to deal with people of other ethnicities. If we told you more than once, that's what it is. Either you gonna learn it here at work, or you have to learn it at home, but you gonna learn it somehow. And I think that that's something that I want to do. I want to implement like anti-covert racism systems in companies that I have. Like, that's what I want. Now, two comments from last week that I thought would be good to bring up on the podcast would be one from Kieran. Shout out to Kieran. I think it's a woman, but I don't know. It could be a guy. They them said, do you help Melissa make the candles now? And I'm like, nope, not at all. I do not help Melissa make the candles. So then a person responded and said, so she came up with the idea to start selling candles, which you were against at first. She created the concept behind the brand for the candles, does all the labor on her own as far as getting the materials needed for the candles. She also makes them on her own, and she also goes to the craft fair and helps sell them, ? Sounds like she should be the one we're watching and listening to. Also, all of your top videos are ones with her face as the thumbnail. You should be helping her making the candles, since all of your ideas have left you guys in a deep debt hole. Okay, so that's how Kieran feels, and that's what I told her earlier, or they. She has a stream that you can tap into whenever you want, and I would love for Melissa to have a podcast at some point that you guys could tap into and tune into. I think that I would very much want to watch a Melissa podcast for sure. Right. Of course. That's what you talk about. See what kind of things you be speaking about. So, what was I gonna say about that? Oh yes, listen. I don't think you guys understand this part. All right. Maybe y'all don't know this, but I know this. Melissa is an amazing, phenomenal, amazing person. Like, I think y'all think I don't know this, right? I am fully aware of what Melissa does and is capable of. And honestly, if you ask me, she should be doing more. All right? If you want to ask me, I think she's not doing enough. All right? How?
You ain't got the answers.
Why don't you carry the candles to the craft fair and walk? You be in the car. No, you should be walking there so you can build character. You can say, I used to walk to the craft fair because my car wasn't paid for. All right? I don't understand why you don't be doing that.
You ain't got the answers, Sway.
All right? What else could you be doing? Let me see.
You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers.
Why you don't capture the bees yourself, Melissa? Why you don't get the bees and make your own bees nest in the backyard and have your own beeswax?
What backyard?
You make a backyard. Make a backyard, all right? Because I don't understand you slacking. All right, I need you to understand this. I need you to get it together because you're not doing enough. All right, because not gonna be out here doing the least on not in the Bamboo Project universe. Absolutely not. So
honestly, yeah, Donovan would help more if I didn't hate help. That is
also true as well. That's also true.
But that's a topic for another time.
Listen, this is my thing, and I say this: I enjoy your guys' opinions. It is hilarious. I enjoy them, and I want to see, because it lets me know where we stand, between, as I learned this new term, parasocial relationship. I think that's what they call it.
Parasocial, what is that?
I think it means like people know us, but we don't know them.
Oh,
I want to know people. I don't want it to just be like, y'all watch me, I don't even know y'all. I would, if y'all comment, we could talk back and forth. Like, it's not like we won't have a conversation. And like I said, that's why I want to do the Twitch streaming. We could actually in the Discord we could talk. We could be like, hey, yo, I know. But listen, there are people who I comment and talk to in the comments who I know I haven't met them, but we talk on the phone, we text, Instagram, DM, a lot of that stuff. Have my number, we could just reach out, whatever. I prefer that. I don't really, the whole me talking to the universe and everybody just watching, not saying nothing. That's weird to me.
And then it's just a lot of things that don't fully get translated
right
from this setup. So it's kind of like, because even with honestly, even with the candles, because I know I say it's not Donovan's idea. Ooh,
you could do that while you're making candles. You could stream.
Oh, that's true.
But yeah, go on. Do more work.
I have a cystic pimple coming in right here.
That sounds nasty.
What was I gonna say?
So Donovan doesn't make candles or something. Something like that.
I was saying that I be saying, that Donovan, it wasn't his idea, and he ain't know it yet. That he did not understand, did not believe, like, the candles. Yeah, whatever. Pretty much, even with that being the situation, it's not that he didn't think it wouldn't work. It's more so like, I need my own podcast.
Right.
For sure. Because I am a ball of energy.
Right.
So it's like...
Kieran, subscribe to Melissa's podcast when it come out. All right?
So it's kind of like, Melissa, whatever you want to do, I'm behind you. Just make sure you choose something. The one thing, do it, follow through. So, and like I said, that's hard to translate through. Because I don't want nobody thinking that you're...
I mean, listen, I'm amazing. I know I am. However, as far as making candles, I say this all the time. All right, I don't need to help Melissa make candles. That's what I don't know if people understand this. All right, one of the reasons that I don't make candles is because I would have to either do it by myself or be in her way doing it. Because, and again, can I help? Absolutely. Yes, I can. I could absolutely help Melissa to pour the wax or cut out the tabs, the dust covers, or put the wick stickers in the thing. I can do all of that, right? There will come a time where I have to. That time is not now. There will come a time where I will be like, Melissa she reached full capacity, and then I will have to then come in and offload some of that stress that she has. We aren't there yet. So until then, I am chilling like a villain. All right. And then shout out to my guy. Who is this? Who said this? I think it's a guy. Could be a woman. Don't know. Stock Snips. They said appearance has some value. Now I think they were talking about me. That's my assumption. They were talking about getting like a haircut or something. They said like a hair trim or a lineup or something. Now here's my thing.
They're not talking about me.
That'd be crazy. Let me get a lineup. For me, when it comes to my hair, right, and my appearance, one of the reasons why I care very little about it is because I put myself through a gauntlet when I was younger. And what I mean by that is I purposefully tried to do all the things I wanted to do without caring about the way I look, because I wanted to know how much of it is on me and how much of it is on the way I look. So when I used to run game on girls, and I mean like as a job, I guess, without money, I want to call it that. I would purposefully not get a haircut. I would purposely not do anything. I would meet girls in my work uniform, my boots, and my what do you call it? My bike, my big old pants, my big old backpack with my hat, with my old gloves, everything. And I would meet girls and do my regular things with them. So I'm like, okay, if I could learn how to make myself a better person, then how I look is not as important. And I think it's funny that they brought that up, because even at the craft fair, I don't do my hair. My hair looks just like this at the craft fair. And we still sell all the candles that you see us selling. So if I cut my hair, sure, we could make more, maybe, but I definitely know we're making a lot with my hair like this. So it doesn't have as much value as I think other people put on it because I tried to make it less valuable. Listen, back in the day, Melissa already know. I didn't have no car. Listen, come get on my bike. Come to your job.
On the bike.
Right. Come to your job, get my e-bike, and we're going to ride this around the city. I'm going to pick you up.
When you was in your work uniform. We met
right.
At work.
Yes. Well, yes. That's what exactly. That is, my thing is, it is important to look a certain way, but that comes second to how kind of person you are. Like, I always think about starting from the inside and going out. Layer 1 would be your health, knowing how to be healthy. Honestly, even before that, I would say layer 1 is knowing who you are. That would be layer 1. Knowing what kind of person I am was first for me. Knowing what I like and don't like. Knowing what my downfalls are. Knowing what I'm good at, what I'm not good at. And knowing what makes me confident. Because I think when it comes to like comedy, right? Like being funny, I think the best comedians are funny because they know who they are. So when they make a joke, they know how people perceive them, so they can make a joke opposite than that. So that would be something like if The Rock was saying a joke like, yeah, man, I hate when I have to go out to the car because my muscles are so small. Something like that. You'd be like, what? Your muscles is not small. You talk like that is more funny as opposed to him talking about lifting weights. It's like, yeah, bro, we know you go to the gym. Like, it's not funny. It's not a joke. We know you're brolic and you're good looking. You have money. It's not funny. But I think once you understand how people perceive you and what kind of person you are, it's easier to just go through life because you know what to work on. What people are saying about you may or may not be true. And it's a quote from Dante Nero where he said, never let a woman define you, because if you do, it won't be long before you ain't shit. And that applies to anybody. If you let someone else define you, then I feel like you don't really know who you are. I think I try to take in what people say and go, okay, how does that fit into what I think about myself? Is that true? I don't think that's true. It doesn't really make sense. And I know me, so that doesn't sound right. If they are right, I'll go, let me try to work on that. So that's something I always find to be very interesting when it comes to looks. But don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong by me saying that. I'm telling you right now, when I get money though, when I get to the bag, oh my God, that's what I'm saying. Imagine who I am now, as amazing and phenomenal as I am today. I got perfectly straight teeth, all white with the line up, with the muscles. My beard is even bigger and more moisturized. My skin is on, what did you say back in the day? It's on fleek. Like, come on now. What you talking about? Like, what are we saying? My health is on everything. I got money now. It's like, listen.
Tell me.
Right. See, exactly. It's like, yo, what we just broke. I could spend money on stuff that I don't need to look like I'm not broke, but I'm broke. That is what it is. Listen, like I said, I can get a haircut or I can do laundry. I think I'd rather have clothes to wear than have a hair that's cut. That's just me. Laundry $30, haircut like $50 now. I'm not getting a haircut. I have saved so much money not getting a haircut. All right, so that's something I want to put out there. But anything you want to add to that?
I am just excited.
Mm-hmm.
We are now in September, so we are 3/4 of the way through this year.
Yep.
One thing that I think has helped us tremendously is keeping track of our goals and having a planner. And I'm kind of excited about Donovan's spreadsheet. And it kind of got me thinking about making my own planner. So that might be a digital product that might come to y'all soon. Because I think that I might make a video about it, because I feel like having a planner has helped me so tremendously. Using it, just keeping track of it, keeping myself motivated, keeping myself organized. So, and I think it helped a lot with the goals for this year. So I'm just excited to see what the rest of the year is going to bring. The goal that I set in January before doing any craft fairs was making $25,000 this year, with the candles. So we got three more months. Let's see. So far we have what, 12,000?
Can we hit 75,000?
I think they have more than that for the year, honestly, because that's just Square. That doesn't include online sales, and I feel like we did at least 2,000.
You wanted 25 for the year, or 25 just for the candles?
25 just for the candles for the year.
Okay.
So I think right now we at almost 13. No, more than that.
Yeah, we more than that. I could tell you right now.
15.
How much you made for the online? $12,456 at the craft fair.
12,456.
Yeah. So honestly, is it?
This year to date, we made 15, almost 1,500.
Okay, online. So we're at about, what's that? 13, about 15,000.
Yeah, almost 15,000. So we got 4 more months. I think is very obtainable. Honestly, we might hit that in 5 weeks. We might hit that in a month or 2 from now. So that's just insane. But I just wanted to, talk about goals and stuff. I kind of wanted us to do like a halfway mark episode, but
I don't know if I talked about this. And I have it on my topics list, and it came up again because I was watching a clip of Graham Stephan, and in the Graham Stephan video, he was talking to Dave Ramsey, and one thing that Dave Ramsey had brought up is that people don't calculate for risk in real estate. They kind of look at the upside of it, and he was saying, I think he said in finance they have something called a beta formula, which is how they can calculate what the actual risk is numerically. And I've been always trying to figure that out, and I haven't gone deep into it, but the fact that it's out there means that, okay, I can know which direction to look in. I bring this up because I think I talked about this before. I mean, I'll say it again just for the people who are in the back who haven't heard this before. It's just about the hidden fees of life. And I think that Jewish people understand that. That's what I feel like they understand, that there's hidden fees to doing everything. And it could be, the fee doesn't have to always be money. It could be energy, it could be stress, it could be emotion, it could be a lot of different, it could be time wasted. And when I heard Dave Ramsey talk about it, I knew even more that it was solidified that this does exist and people do quantify that. And I think the problem with most people in society is that they don't know about the hidden fees of life. So they actually will take on jobs not knowing that they are paying more or making less than they see in their bank account. They just go, damn, I worked all 40 hours and I only made $300 or $500. That doesn't seem right. That doesn't feel right. And I think that's because they aren't taking into account, like, okay, the amount of time to get to work. Let's say it's an hour to get to work. You got to get up. You're not going to get up an hour before you got to go to work. You're probably going to get up maybe 2 hours before you got to go to work. Give yourself an hour of time to get ready and then an hour to get to work. So if you got to be to work at 8, you're waking up at 6 o'clock. Now, if you are a person, now this goes back to the hidden fees of life. You might have to set your alarm for 5:30 or 5 o'clock because you don't want it. You know you're gonna hidden fees. You know you're gonna open your eyes, close them again, open your eyes, turn off your alarm, go back to sleep. Those are the hidden fees of life. So you're gonna wake up at 5 o'clock, even though you gotta be to work at 8 o'clock, so that you know that you can be up out the bed by 6, so you can be out the house by 7, so you can get there by 8. And that's if you are 100% sure that you will get there in an hour. If you know about the hidden fees of life, you would add more time to that. You go, you know what? I'm probably going to add an extra hour 45 to get there, right? So now to get to work on time, you actually have to wake up at 4 o'clock or 4:30, something like that, to get to work on time comfortably every day, right? Then you get off of work. Now you're exhausted. You're tired. That isn't calculated into you taking this job. It's another hour back home to work from work, right? God forbid it's not busy that day. Are you getting food on the way back home? What kind of food are you getting? Is the food going to make you tired? So now you're even more tired. So now you don't have any energy left to actually go and pursue either a job you wanted, a career you wanted, or anything of those things that you wanted to do. What? Okay. Any of those things you wanted to do to get yourself out this hole. And I think, like I said, it was something that I knew was happening when I was a bike messenger, but I didn't know what the number was. And I always felt like if I was to calculate the number I would calculate would seem so unrealistic. It wouldn't make sense for me to do that thing anymore. And I didn't know what the number was, but I knew I had to quit being a bike messenger. Like, it was no way I could do it with the amount of time I was putting in, the brain capacity to even think about work, because that also comes into play. When you get off of work, Did your friend at work stress, or did your coworker stress you at work? Did your boss threaten to fire you at work? So now you think about your stress levels and your mental capacity when you get home. All you want to do is watch TV. You're like, bro, I'm so exhausted from my job, from eating that terrible food I ate, from working, from getting up at 4 a.m. to then get to work by 8. The traffic, the train to get there was exhausting. You have no time left. These are the hidden fees that I'm like, okay, how is these calculated? So then is where I came up with this. I think that is why people charge interest for money. People charge interest for money. And I think that because interest is something that we can't see, we just know we have to pay it. That's very similar to the hidden fee of life, where it's like, okay, if you don't calculate for this, you're going to lose because you think you're spending $1 and you're actually spending $1.75. Like, you think you going to work, you think you work 40 hours a week, but you actually work 80 hours a week and you don't even know it. That's crazy. Like, that's the crazy part. And if you calculate it from that perspective, I think people would take different jobs and they would quit jobs a lot quicker. Probably heard this before. They say if you can't buy something twice, you shouldn't buy it at all. I used to play around with the ideas. You can't buy it 3 times, you shouldn't buy it at all. I don't think people can do that. They're broke because you still got to buy something to eat and survive off of. But I just think that falls into the category of knowing what hidden fees are with everything you do. And for me specifically, I would generalize the hidden fees. Like, okay, I could expect this and this to happen because I think nobody really wants to sit down and figure out all the hidden fees they have, because it's a lot. All the possible risk of everything you do. Just think about I think if someone was to get up and go to work and weigh all the things that could possibly go wrong in that day and then calculate their day based off of that would be it. That would possibly be it. I think to any decision that's made, to calculate it as if everything were to go wrong, everything, all the time, and then base your time off of that, and then decide whether or not something is actually worth doing. I think that's a good way to look at that. But one reason I brought this up is because I had listened to a podcast. It's a Jewish podcast about money. And they were kind of talking about money from a spiritual aspect. And I'm like, that makes so much sense, because I've always thought that money is energy and it's just a way to transfer from one person to another. And I think that they made money. They tried to make it, actually, I feel like they made it more of an energy by making it fiat. And I think that the more money you have, the more physical labor you can pay for. So that's why I think you are actually getting energy for money. And that's how I think a lot of those videos I listen to, those podcasts, I think a lot of those people, the Jewish people in that podcast, they look at it from a spiritual perspective. And then if you weigh money versus from a spiritual perspective, I think a lot of people would operate very differently. And another thing that's funny, the last thing I'm gonna say about this, is where Melissa and I are at in our life right now. We don't really care about money, if that makes sense, but we have covered all the other bases. That money is the last thing we have left to cover. So we more or less are very happy in our life. Like, everything is very good. The only thing we are missing is the money part, which is coming soon. I think that we definitely don't look at money the same way. I feel like we will be back here next Tuesday. You can find all of the behind the scenes content on our social medias. Mine is Donovan Gray, DONIVANGRAY, and my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend Anita Byrne, ANETABURN. All right, you know what it is. #Bamboo Project 2022. Shout out to my guy Musically Challenged. We about to turn up. We got 3 months left, I think, maybe 4. All right, and with that being said, Bamboo Project out.